hey, 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 hey. Come on, Bengaluru!
Welcome to the RCB Fan Army Dugout, where all cricket fans come together to talk about the game we love. Whether you're an avid supporter of RCB or just enjoy a good cricketing conversation, this is the spot for you. We'll delve into players, matches, background conversations, basically everything cricket. Today we pan the camera to someone who's owned the mic for years. He's not just a host, he's the host. He's the voice behind the biggest cricketing extravaganzas, from an ICC World Cup to Champions Trophy to 13 seasons of the IPL, Pro Kabaddi, ISL, marathons, celebrity shows, concerts not just across India but across the world. He's a professional MC, a team building specialist, a comic, a mic jockey, and everything that you can say. You also known him from Big Boss Kannada, where he won all our hearts just by his charming personality. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome MJ Rakesh, the mic jockey. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Lovely, firstly, let me take a deep breath for that grand, extensive introduction that you gave me. Nobody's ever given me something like that. So, for you, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you.
So, to begin with, you've professionally done so many roles, from being a team building specialist to an MC to a mic jockey to a radio jockey. Which is that one role, that stood out for you and you were like, this is what I wanted to do?
See, these are roles for people or roles for people who hire me. For me, it's just one and the same. That's exactly why it's turned out to be that people call me a mic jockey. Anything on the mic, I will do it for you, whether it is the street or the stadium, whether it is a stage or a nightclub, whether it is even a conference or probably even a television show or like what we're doing right now. Anything on the mic, I will do it for you. So that's exactly why they call me the mic jockey.
Correct.
So these are roles for people because they may have requirements for me to come and do a team building exercise or a workshop. Some people would want me to just come and host their annual day. Some would want me to host their radio show, or probably someone would want me to host a stadium gig. For them, these are specific different roles and different requirements. For me, it's just the mic.
Correct.
So, like I always say, give me crowd, give me mic, give me crowd. I'll make you roar, I'll make you proud. That's what I stick to. That's it.
So you've hosted so many high energy events, but what stood out for you as a host while you host like IPL or say a stadium full of crowd, especially cricket?
As much as it might appear that I'm generalizing the entire thing, but for me, that's how it is. When I'm on the mic and I have an audience in front of me, I'm giving it my all. I'm giving it my 100%, irrespective of the nature of the event. Like I said, whether it's a stadium or the street, whether it is a club or even a big stage, I'm just putting in that much amount of energy, that much amount of work to be doing what they need. But one thing I know, one thing this remains a constant in all of this is, when I have an audience, I know that they have taken out a certain number of hours of their lifetime.
Yes.
Right? When I say lifetime, literally
Definitely.
in terms of time of your life. They've taken out those 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours to come into that arena, to be paying attention to me and to be listening to what I have to say. So I make it a point that I make their time completely worth it. So that's what I focus more on. And that's when I get into the content as to what's more relevant for them, what's really needed for that event, what is it that they would want to hear, or probably what is it that they would go back home with an experience. So that's what I focus more on than getting into what is more memorable for me and what is more memorable for people. For me, at the end of the day, an event with a mic in my hand and a crowd in front of me, I just want to make sure everybody is going back home with memories.
Correct.
And people who've taken out the kind of time that they have for that particular day, I want to just make it worth for them. That's all. That's all I focus on.
I think that's wonderful. What you've spoken makes so much sense. A lot of people leave out on their important work, come to just attend match, and then I think you all make it worthwhile for them. You've been a part of IPL, say, for 13 seasons now. And what is the evolution of fans in terms of energy and excitement that you have seen? Has it doubled every coming season?
See, it's Of course, it has doubled, tripled, quadrupled, or multiplied to an infinity number. But it's not just IPL. If you look at it, cricket on the whole,
general, okay.
cricket on the whole has kind of evolved from the targets that used to be set back then to the targets that are set today.
Right.
Yeah, the way the bowlers used to kind of get wickets to the number of wickets that the bowlers get today, and the sharpness that you see on the field to what you see today, to back then and to what it is now, it's obviously evolved a lot. And certainly because of that evolution on the field, the fans have also tried to level up with that.
Right.
Because when you see much more sharper things happening on the field, you also have gone much intense in your energy, intense in your reactions, more outward and outspoken in the way you want to express what you feel for a team. So it certainly has evolved, just like human beings, just like anything else that has evolved around. Cricket on the whole has evolved, and so have fans and people who follow cricket and their favorite cricketers. So it certainly has evolved. How much it has evolved, there is no number to it. And even if you have this interview probably 5 years down the line from now, you will see that we would have evolved much more than what we are today.
Correct.
Yeah,
perfectly.
So there's always innovation. There is always more excitement in the game, and there are always newer things that these players are bringing to the crease. So if players can bring newer stuff and higher energy onto the field, certainly fans will have to level up, right?
Yeah.
That's what's happened.
So since you said that cricket in general, I'd ask you this question. Personally, what gives you more goosebumps? Seeing a wave of red in Chinnaswamy cheering for RCB, or a sea of blue supporting India in an ICC tournament?
That is so unfair of you to ask me, and that too on a camera in front of people who are going to be judging me for it. These are two different things altogether. Okay, one is obviously at a larger level for the nation, and the other one is, I wouldn't say for the state or the city, but home.
Right.
That's how I look at it. So if you look at it, even in your day-to-day life, you know there is something that you do in a larger space for the house and something that you do in a smaller space for yourself. That's exactly how these two sentiments are. When you're watching an India match and when I'm hosting an India match with a sea of blue, it's an entirely different emotion that's running in the stadium, because people literally feel that deep down within. They think it's their moral duty, or probably it is their right to be out there expressing their nationalism, if I have to say, for lack of a better word, or probably their patriotism that they feel for the country. They feel it's like it's their birthright to express that through the sport. But when it comes to an RCB match or probably a franchisee match, people take it as something that they have to do it for their house.
Personally.
Yeah. It's something that you want to do for yourself.
Correct.
Ye mere ghar ke liye, mane koskar nan maar kare do. So they look at it that way. Right? So it's two different emotions. One, you're doing at a very larger level for the country. You're expressing your nationalism, ನಿಮ್ಮ patriotism na ni ತೋರಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. But when it comes to your franchisee or an RCB space, you're doing it for the house.
Correct.
That's why we say Namuru, Bengaluru, who are we, RCB.
I think you put it in such you worded it so well, leaving not a space for anybody to judge you. Like whatever you've said, I think nobody will have this thing like, oh my God, he didn't choose India or he didn't choose RCB.
No,
you put it very well.
I'm not doing it to be diplomatic or trying to take sides. I'm just being honest, because I've hosted at both the levels. I still do. I just came back from hosting the Champions Trophy where India was playing the finals. And we're doing the IPL season right now where I'm hosting the RCB home games. So it's very clearly evident for me, because I'm juggling these roles regularly. On a regular basis, I'm doing it. So I feel that emotion and sentiment and passion much more strongly, because I can sense it from thousands of people in the stadium. And I've just shared whatever they have put out there. That's all.
So, because you've been hosting since so long, there's a fine line between entertaining and not interrupting the game.
Absolutely.
If you understand what I say. How do you master this with the art that you do?
You got this question absolutely right, but there's one change. There's no thin line between entertaining and interrupting. There's a very thick line. It's a clear difference between these two things. And of course, when you're on that mic, on that stage with a huge audience and someone as crazy as RCB fans that you're hosting for, it's very natural to get carried away. It's very natural to kind of go with the flow and take over. But that is when I constantly work before the match, during the match, and even after the match on grounding myself with the thought process that nobody is bigger than the game. Okay, the game comes first, and then comes everything around the game.
True.
So no matter whatever the moment is, whether it's the highs or the lows or even the average of nothings that are happening, that's the time I constantly ground myself, saying that the game is bigger, what the players are doing out in the field is much bigger, so the focus stays on that. Okay,
Right.
and my role is only to enhance the experience. I'm not there to take over. The moment you realize that you've got the mic and you're here to take over and you're here to, drive the stadium and take over, that is when you lose the plot. That is when you're going to be interrupting. That is when you're going to be disturbing people. That's when you're going to be taking away from the experience of the game that people have come for. So very judiciously, I know when to shut up. I know when to kind of, enhance or capitalize on the moments that are there. I know when the crowd needs a little bit of waking up and a little bit of nudging to do. So again, that comes with practice. It comes with experience. So I've been doing this for like a decade and more now. So I know very clearly when I ground myself that the game is much bigger. What players are doing on the field is much bigger than what I'm doing. So I let them do what they're doing. I just enhance the experience for the audience. That's all I do. So I stick to this ground, and I'll make sure I don't try and overstep anything here.
Right. I think what you've said, I think a lot of people wouldn't know about this, because a lot of people just think, having the mic in hand is like gaining all the power in the stadium, but you rightfully put into
as much as it sounds cliched or copied or lifted, with power comes also responsibility, right? So it's also my responsibility to make sure every single fan who's come into the stadium, whether it's the RCB stadium or any other stadium that I'm hosting playoffs for, or even the India matches, when people come in there, they want to enjoy the game thoroughly. But they also need a little bit of nudging and pushing and waking and cheering and all of it. So that's what I'm there for. Only which can enhance their experience, not something that will give them a downer or take it away from the game or distract them, disrupt them, or maybe unsettle them. I am only there to enhance the experience of the game, and I stick to that role of mine, and I try and do whatever it takes to enhance the experience of the game without overstepping.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you find it to keep the crowd pumped during a one-sided match, or when their favorite home team is not having a good day on the field? Like, say, RCB having a bad day.
I see. It's always, as an artist, it's always a challenge to be doing the difficult ones.
Right.
And I seem to kind of like that side. As much as, of course, I enjoy every time RCB is doing really well, we go on a high, we go on a rampage, we kind of create madness and craze in the stadium, and that entire craze is oozing out in the stadium.
Yeah.
As much as I do that, but that's something that happens anyways, right?
Right.
What is more difficult is when the team is not doing well and they're kind of hitting a little bit of a low, as to how you lift the spirits, not just of the team, but of the audience, right? Because the audience is there to kind of fuel the team. That's how the dynamics in Chinnaswamy Stadiums work. Chinnaswamy Stadium works. Audience at Chinnaswamy Stadium, or rather, if I have to say, RCBians at Chinnaswamy Stadiums, do not come just to watch the match. They come to also play the match.
Right.
Because every ball is being played in people's head. That's how intense an RCB fan is. Like they say, as much as, again, this might sound too dramatic, across the world, human bodies function because of RBCs, the red blood cells, right? But a RCBian's body functions because of RCB. It is deeply rooted in their system. So they are playing the game in their head, every single ball, right? So that is where I take it up as a challenge as to how I use that side of theirs to make sure the energy is created, the synergy is created, the vibrations are felt in the stadium, and that is sent out inside the field, which touches the players and maybe contributes to a little bit of a change in the low that they're feeling.
Correct.
So my work is that, and that's where you need me.
Right.
An RCB fan does not need, or even the team maybe does not even need an MC
Or
in the stadium, or a person who can drive the stadium when they're anyways doing well.
Yes.
You need that person when they're
Lift
actually
up
going
the-
through
yes.
tough times.
Yes.
And that is where I come in. And I love to be in those shoes because I know it's like a challenge, and I have always loved challenges as an artist.
Okay.
So I take up those moments in the match which are like a little dull, which are low-lying, and which also where audience is kind of feeling a little bit of a setback. I lift it out from there. I lift it up from there. That's what I love.
So actually, my follow-up question was this. You've seen fans across the country and the globe now, but RCB fans are a different breed. What do you have to say about, their madness and loyalty to this team?
They are not a different breed. They are a different class of species.
Okay.
Okay? They are completely different. Like I said, I don't even know what runs in their bloodline for them to be what they are. Hats off to the loyalty, hats off to that loyalty which makes them, it's their loyalty which brings that royalty for them, and I have seen this over a decade and a half, where an RCB fan is so true to the team and what they believe in that they will just not accept anything else. It's as good as saying, there are a lot of people who go and ask people, right? RCB never wins the cup, so why are you supporting that team? I just have one thing to tell those people. Do you ever ask, why do you call your dad your dad? As much as you may have differences with your dad, or your dad may not be like a real role model for you, but you still consider your dad your dad.
Yes.
Right? You will not suddenly accept your neighbor's dad as your dad.
Dad, right.
So if you ask me, why don't you like CSK and not RCB? I'm like, I'm going to go with my dad and not yours.
Correct.
Right? That's the best way I can explain this. So that's how loyal we are. That's how true it is. Like they also say this, right? They say if at all you're looking for a life partner in life, you're looking to marry.
Go with an RCB fan because they'll never cheat on you.
Yeah, go with an RCB fan, not because they'll not cheat on you, but because they will always stay
loyal to you. Yes.
So that's what they say. It's the loyalty that brings in the royalty.
Yes.
And so much so, it is in the name. That's why they call it the Royal Challengers Bengaluru. Royal because they are loyal, and challenges because we're always taking on tougher times.
Right.
And we know how to take those tougher times and still come out feeling great about it.
Yeah.
Whether and they also say this, like, win, lose or tie, RCB till you die. Yeah. That's it.